Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. What's going on, family? Hopefully, you guys are having an awesome, awesome evening. You guys had an amazing weekend. Let me get this together on my end. There we go. All right. Let's see. All right, boom, we got action. All right. Let's see here. All right, all right. Oh, snap, I didn't even know. All right. All right, smooth. All right, guys, so we got Mike is currently out of town traveling, so I'm gonna run this one. So let's get it. All right, all right, all right. Boom, boom. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let me go ahead and put this banner up. All right. Scoot my big mug over, and let's go ahead and jump right into some sauce. So quick refresh of Old Coin Gecko. Let me see. Make sure we got audio on my end too. All right. Yeah, we got sound. All right, cool. All right. Let's see. In the chat. I don't know why the chat does that thing, man. All right, there we go. Sheesh. All right, we should be good now. All right. Let's see here. Boom, chat's back. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it cuts off on its own. Like, it's this weird thing it just does for fun sometimes. All right. Let's see here. What's going on, Mandal? What's good, Willie? We got Royo in the building. Danny in the building. What's going on, Pete? All right, all right. Let me see here. It just does that. I don't know. Like, sometimes you go to the website and it'll just, the chat just does what it wants to do sometimes. It's weird. I don't know. I personally don't cut it off, but it's just off sometimes. I think when they're like working on stuff, they cut it off so they won't have any interruptions inside of what they're doing when they're like fixing stuff. So if somebody pops in, it won't kind of like mess them up. Let me see here. See here, we got Hawaii representing. Let's go. All right, got my Hawaii, got my Ohana in the building. Let's go. Let's go. What's going on, Maggie? What's up, Stay Consistent? We got Miss Kilgore in the house. What's going on, Cheryl? Abel in the building. Albert's checking in. We got Relasia in the house. All right, all right. What's going on, Klebs? All right. We got a Poston in the building. What's going on, Guam Girl? All right. See here. I used to have Kevin McHale jersey. Okay. I see you, Royal. All right. Let's see. Let's see. All right, but what's going on, Forex Goddess? All right, smooth. Let's see here. Let's jump right into the sauce. All right, fam. So, yeah, Mike's at the TLX event in Cancun right now. So he won't be here for this call. But I got you covered. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right, fam. So Quick refresh of oldcoingecko.com. We got Bitcoin hanging out still around 30K right now. Nothing too wild going on for the most part. We got Ethereum hanging out right now at around $1,800. Tether still around below $1. Who would have thunk it? We got BNB right now at 245. BNB's been having a lot of back and forth right now. Like, and I got my theory on this, so I'll get on that in a minute. But it's one of those scenarios where I feel like BNB may be a catalyst for another potential drop, like how they did FTX. Not the same, and I want to say they, because FTX did enough on their own, right? But FTX was definitely a catalyst that definitely brought us a lot of sell side pressure. So when I see what's going on right now with BNB, it really kind of puts me in the mind frame of like, we may see another major sell off. But I'm just saying. USD coin still at $1. And we got XRP still below 50 cent. Cardano still below the 30-cent mark. And everything else pretty much is kind of hanging out some pretty familiar zones. Polygon had a nice 7% jump. eCash up 6%. BNB, like I said, had a little bit of a spike, but still down. Mina Protocol almost up 4%. So yeah, for the most part, everything's kind of like just kind of coasting along. Nothing too wild. No outrageous, jump out the gym moments or anything like that happening in the market. When I came over here this morning and looked at the dollar index, definitely saw a nice sell-off today. So what does that tell me about what's going on in the market? If anything, we're still where we left off last week. There isn't a whole lot of brand new exciting things to check out, right? When it comes down to what's going on inside the dollar index and what's going on with crypto. But I will say that there is a couple of things that have happened. Not a lot, but a couple of things. Like I was looking into what was going on with BlackRock, and everybody's excited about them, filing for the ETF and all that kind of stuff. And BlackRock has a really high percentage of getting ETFs when they do file for them. But what had happened was they filed and they misfiled something. Like I guess they pushed it through too fast and they didn't file. It was like some real small piece of information that the SEC needed for BlackRock to get it filed properly. So they have to refile, right? And all their excitement, right? Players mess up too. So they end up having to refile it. So that may push it back a little bit further. So, which is kind of funny, but kind of cool is I told you guys, it takes around 9 months-ish for an ETF to go through after it's pushed through with the SEC. So we'll see how this goes. But if anything, it may push it back a little further. So we may end up seeing after the halving, then we start seeing BlackRock and, all these other big entities potentially getting an ETF approved when it comes to the SEC. So we'll see. All right. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on right now with Gary Gensler and the SEC coming after the top DeFi projects and all that good jazz. So there's a lot. There's a lot of things happening with that. But when it comes to just seeing what the market's up to and what the market's really been doing, it's been pretty much just stagnant. Not a lot of wild price action, not a whole lot of fireworks over the weekend. I was looking at a couple things and I just was like, it's not anything that I'm worried about per se, but I will say it is a couple of things happening right now with the Fed too. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys, because it looks weird when you see it, but I want to see if I can pull this up for you guys. All right, boom. Let's see. All right. Yeah, this is all right. So we've been seeing this right here slowly happen, right? So let me bring this over here for you guys real quick. Now, this has been the money supply, right? As you can see, we've been right? Even 2008, we never really had a steep downfall. It kind of just was still running. Right. And even here, we're finally starting to get a little bit of a sell off, which is oh my gosh. But it's not anything that we're super excited or celebrating at the moment. I think it's just the beginning, though, when it comes to seeing money leave the system. Right. This is the M2 money supply chart. So you guys want to come check this out. It's really just on the, Fed.St. Louis or Fred.St. Louis. So yeah, I've been keeping an eye on this, trying to see if they're going to start printing again. But I don't think they're going to start printing anytime soon because obviously interest rates and all that good stuff. But when I see this and I see the dollar kind of just being stagnant right now and not giving us a whole lot of, decisiveness. Yeah, we've seen the market kind of bounce back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And now we're kind of pulling back down to these levels here. If we see the dollar break below these levels around a what is it, around the 101, we break lower, get down into the 100s. That's going to be a completely different landscape when it comes to crypto. And why do I say that? Well, if this breaks lower, this shows dollar weakness. Keep this in mind because everybody's a little bit different places, different spaces when it comes to your experience here. So if the dollar, right, just keep this in mind. Dollar is what everybody pretty much is using as their benchmark for how strong the economy is going to be globally, not just, in the United States. All right, because it's I'm doing the quote fingers, the reserve currency of the world, right? But we understand the dollar has a lot of agreements with other nations, petrodollar when it comes to trade, stuff going on with the UN, stuff going on with the WHO, if you don't know who WHO is, World Health, all that kind of stuff. So, and then we got the, World Economic Forum and all that kind of stuff as well. So there's a whole lot of things. So you want to make sure that you understand the dollar has a lot of power, okay? And everybody kind of looks at this chart and just thinks, oh, it's going to just die off. Too many people would take a hit if the dollar falls, and they're not going to let that happen, right? They'll let it go stagnant to give a little bit of fear and anxiety, but they're not going to let this thing just die and wither away. Too many folks would just go through catastrophic situations, not just in America, right? Even when back in '08, when the housing market crashed, we felt that globally. It was every nation was like, what in the bejesus is going on with the dollar, right? And every nation felt it, right? We almost triggered a housing crash globally in different areas like Japan, some areas in India, it was all over the place, right? So we see something similar, not so much with the housing market, but just with the dollar in general being weak or being stagnant. It brings a lot of fear, anxiety. People aren't really sure. They have a little bit more of a, I don't know, kind of mentality when it comes to investing in the dollar. So we're looking at things like crypto as a hedge. We're looking at gold as a hedge. We're looking at real estate as a hedge. Also stock market, right? We go over here, check out S&P. What are we looking at right now? S&P is breaking out. It's been holding. This has probably been one of the top performing assets this year. It hasn't really slowed down at all, right? So even with gold, we saw gold kind of peak, right? And I was already back down below some levels. So it's exciting to see the markets kind of rally and pull back, but gold acting like it should, right? Even with Bitcoin and crypto, right? Acting as it should, kind of hit a level, stop. We got our first real relief rally after all the dropping that we saw, right, ever since the all-time highs. We didn't get any relief rallies until, this year. Markets started to really rise up around January, February, and we finally got the breakout. But now we're in that territory where we want to start seeing, bigger moves, higher highs. We're getting ready for the halving. We're getting ready for the next big bull run. And I keep telling you guys, this is the part where we lose a lot of people. And you guys kind of look at me crazy, what do you mean, Kurt? We're right here, we're at the door, we're literally we waited all this time to get here, and now everybody's going to walk away from it? Yup. That's exactly what I'm telling you. And why would everybody walk away? Because it's boring right now. There isn't a lot of fireworks going on in the news, right? There isn't a whole lot of, oh my gosh, and sensationalism and all that kind of stuff. They literally had everybody captivated about people being stuck in a submarine, bro. You know what I'm saying? We could have been looking at, how to get a bag, but instead everybody was so caught up in somebody getting caught up, billionaires spending their money doing silly stuff. So, not saying that it was, it's not tragic, but I'm just saying in the same breath, understand where I'm going with this, right? Whenever things get a little stagnant, they start throwing things into the media to just keep people's attention on some of the weirdest stuff that has nothing to do with them, and they're super invested in it, right? And right now, I'm seeing the same thing. Dollar goes sideways. We're stagnant. As you can see right now, crypto's been going sideways since, what is this, late June, all right? And here we are mid-July, and nothing's changed, right? Almost the same price levels, nothing too wild, nothing too crazy. And I keep telling people, this is where people start getting really comfortable, and they go, find other things to distract them. And then when Bitcoin or crypto starts to make moves, they miss out on it. They don't get any of the entries. They take a break, take a sabbatical. It's nice outside. They want to go have a good time. And that's great. I'm not telling you guys to stay in the house today and become a hermit, but I'm saying really be mindful of the time frame we're in right now, because I'm going to go back to this chart. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. And I keep explaining this to people. All right. It's like that scene in All About the Business. You have to keep telling me, Sheridan, because I love potato chips. But I keep telling y'all. So understand where we're at right now inside these levels, right? We're in a position where we're seeing Bitcoin do the same thing it's done over the last few bull runs, right? Or preparations before the bull run, should I say. Now, the market doesn't like to repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. Now, we got this nice consolidation phase, the part where I told you guys it gets boring, right? You can see it for your own eyes. This little gray box is the boring box. And right after that, what we get? This big old green box where price does breakout, and then a little bitty retest right above it, right? I'm going to zoom in on it so you can see what I'm talking about here, right? Breakout, little bitty retest, and then hold after having, boom, off to the races. Okay, wait a minute. Boring phase, because we know this isn't the boring phase. This is the most lit part for people that have been here, right? But for everybody on the outside, this gray box is the boring, right? And then we get this green box breakout, retest of the box above, and then we kind of hold, having, and then we leave, right? Same thing again, gray box, the boring phase. Then we get that breakout, retest of the box above, right? Consolidate, having, and then we go on about our business, right? Guys, the boring box, we're about to break out and get above it and retest for a while back and forth. And then we're going to have that halving in 2024. And then we'll be going about our business just like always. It's literally right on schedule. And I'm going to watch a good 40 to 30% of you guys get lazy and go play video games and stop paying attention to this. And I'm just gonna sit back and say, I tried to told you. I tried. Like, but no, honestly, family, this is the part where people do get a little more distracted than normal. Right? And it's not by mistake. Like, mark my words, either the end of this year or beginning of next year, there's going to be something incredibly distracting happening in the news. It's like clockwork, bro. Like you can time your watch to this thing. You can set your watch to it. Like every time we have a presidential election and there's a Democratic president, there is usually something super dramatic just before the election to make them feel more of a sense of, hey, you need me back in here to solve this thing. So be mindful of where we're headed right now. And I'm not for anybody. I'm not for the Dems or the Republicans or none of that. They all got their own agendas. It is what it is at this point. Like they just come in and make their own money and they get out and then they get a job somewhere. Like this is pretty much what it is. Like we just elect people so they can go get other jobs. But in this instance, I want you guys to understand the stuff that we talk about in these classes, the things that I'm showing you guys on a weekly and daily basis, is about making sure you don't have to worry about who's in office. Right? You're in charge of your economics in your household. You're in charge of what money flows in and out of your household. Right? Like I tell y'all all the time, I am not a Trump supporter, but I tell y'all the truth. When he was in office, that money was moving. Okay, that's all I'm telling you. Like I'm down for the catalyst that allows everybody to get paid. It wasn't like, oh, you can only touch this money if you know so and so and so and so. No, that money was circulating, right? And if you was looking at a chart, you had opportunity to get in on it. I was telling people as well, when he made those tweets every like Thursday before non-farm payroll, he would tell you unemployment numbers are the best they've ever been in 30 years. And they would be what he said. And you just had to read his tweet and get in the market. And you was making money. Like I tell people, like, look, I don't care who he is, what he was talking about. The money was moving. Right, you can get in your feelings about whatever he was talking about, but did you take advantage of what was going on? Right, and most folks didn't know where to look because they were too busy being distracted. All right, so this is why I try to get you guys to understand. Now is not the time to start looking for distractions and getting in your feelings and Don't none of that matter. And none of that gonna help you, and none of that gonna change. You can always find something to get you upset. I promise you, it'll be right there waiting for you whenever you need it. All right. But right now is the season to start really doubling down, betting on yourself, getting into these markets, taking advantage of this movement. Even though it's stagnant and it's not going crazy, this is the calm before the storm. Okay. And it's just, I tell you guys all the time, when I log off a class, I say the same thing. Stay patient, stay disciplined. And again, right? Like it's the same old, I've been doing the same mantra for the last 6 years, right? All you guys need to understand is this is not about a right now thing, right? I get it. We have the futures classes where you guys can come in and trade live with us. We got the other classes where you come in and you see educators breaking down the setups and the different market movement. You got the app where you're getting setups from Nick, you get setups from Charlie, from Danny, from Mike. Everybody's getting excited and getting amped up about these different setups in the market. But at the end of the day, are you doing the work? Right? You come to the classes and we're having a good time in the chat. We're cracking jokes. Everybody's having a good time. But are you taking advantage of this stuff? Are you really getting the gains? Like sometimes I see Mike ask you guys, hey, who got involved with the Solana setup? Hey, who got involved with the last, XRP setup? Hey, who took the Litecoin trade? And you guys like, you're all y'all scratching y'all cheek like, I thought everybody was gonna eat the chips. I didn't know. Like, what do y'all mean you didn't? What are you talking about? You missed it. Right? Like, set some alarms. Be mindful. But like, set an alarm on your phone. Like, I gotta check my app every 2 hours, every hour and a half. I gotta check my app, make sure I didn't miss nothing. Right? Like something. Right? Get the full experience of this. All right, DCX is carrying the boats. I'm trying to tell you, man. We know the tide is coming in, but we got to get everybody in position. We got to get everybody in position. And the thing is, like, some people want to just be drug along. We can run with 100, but we can't carry one. All right, family. So, end of the day, it all boils down to: are you serious? Are you doing the work? And are you enthusiastic? And are you just immersed in this, right? Because I move in gratitude. Like, I'm excited about everything we get to do here. But it really boils down to how serious are you about really coming in here and getting this sauce. Let me see here. Pull this up for you guys. All right. What is going on with that? Why is that there? All right. No. Let me do that. Oh, why that's popping up. Boom. All right. Like my tool tips was popping. I'm like, why is my browser tips popping up? All right. So former SEC chair says Bitcoin ETF could be approved if these conditions are met, right? Like, the thing is this, guys. We're in 2023 and we're talking about a Bitcoin ETF potentially being approved. And everybody wants Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, to be fired, right? They've already put a bill in play. There's like Congress is trying to get him out of there. All the above, right? We know Vanguard now owns, what is it, 560 million worth of Bitcoin mining stocks. Vanguard is owned by who? Anybody know who Vanguard's owned by? I'll let y'all go ahead and put that in there. Let me know in the chat if y'all know who Vanguard's owned by. All right, who promotes Vanguard a lot? Let's just do that. Let's see here. $500 million has pruned into Bitcoin's funds over the past 3 weeks. And here's the deal, or poured into Bitcoin's funds the past few weeks. Here's the thing. We're seeing, I'll pull this up, you guys, because I don't want you guys thinking I'm just like going off the cuff here. All right. All right. So y'all know how I feel about CryptoQuant. Like, it's one of my favorite websites to utilize. Let's see here. So CryptoQuant, they change this thing like every week, feels like. Let's see. So exchange reserves, right? We got, let me see. Bitcoin exchange reserves. Now, this is a really good metric to gauge, or a good barometer, should I say, to gauge where we are inside the market right now. The white line is price, right? And the purple line is the reserves. You're noticing big drop in BTC reserves. What does this mean for you guys? Whenever we see a large drop in the reserves on exchanges, this represents supply and demand. People are taking their Bitcoin off of the exchanges. I'm like right in front of it. I'm just talking. Right? This right here says a lot, right, about what's happening right now inside the market, because people are taking their funds off of exchanges, right? And they don't feel safe leaving their crypto on exchanges, right? This right here is letting us know, spirit thinkers, right? This right here is letting us know that a lot of people aren't very comfortable with leaving their BTC on exchanges, so they're removing it. Now, with people removing their Bitcoin off the exchanges, this tells us that A, they're not looking to sell, right? So if there's no longer any real selling pressure, what other pressure could there be in the market, right? There's only a couple things you can do, right? When you're in the market, you're either buying or you're selling, right? Or you're holding, right? And in the other two, if we get rid of one or the other two pretty much, well, the one pretty much leads towards the other two, right? Or leads towards the other one, right? So let's say if there's no longer any more selling pressure because people are taking their Bitcoin off the exchange, and all they're doing is holding or buying, that means that we have more upwards trajectory in front of us, right? So right now, this is one of those scenarios where, like I said before, yes, it may be boring. Yes, it may not be a whole lot of fireworks happening. Yes, it may not be the most exciting time to be a crypto fanatic. But I also am telling you guys, do not let the right now distract you. Because next time, this time next year, you're going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, I wish I can get a break. Every day is something going on in the market. Like when the bull run is in full swing, bruh, you can't pay CNBC, Bloomberg, MSNBC to stop talking about crypto. They forget it's any other markets. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Like back when we had the last bull run, Bitcoin broke above like 40K, when it got above like 20K, when it made new all-time highs, they were going crazy on Bloomberg. They were going crazy on MSNBC. Like every show was Bitcoin crypto, Bitcoin crypto, Bitcoin crypto. They didn't talk about stocks. They wasn't talking about Forex. They wasn't talking about oil prices. They wasn't talking about the housing market. It was Bitcoin and these other things is going crazy. And I'm like, it's the same thing every 4 years. Like, why are y'all acting brand new? Right? So here we are again, quiet, crickets. You can throw a stone and nobody wants to talk about it. This time next year, you're not gonna be able to pay anybody to shut up about it. All right. See here, is ETH Toronto a big deal? I mean, I haven't really heard a lot about it. See here, anybody have Trezor and Satisfy? I have a Trezor, Klebs. I'm not a huge fan of them. They're not bad. I'm not saying they're bad at all. I'm a very, creature of habit type of person. So like I have been using the Ledger since I got into crypto, and I bought a Trezor just to kind of try it out. They're nice, right? They work well with Exodus and stuff, but I like the Ledger. I've been using it for so long. I haven't had any issues with them. Like they work really well. If they have any issue, you have any issues, you can always kind of get them to send you what you need. Like, yeah, I haven't had any problems with it. So for me, they both work well. It's really just a preference thing at the end of the day. That's what it really all boils down to. Let me see here. This is White Rock. Right, Vanguard, BlackRock. Like, listen, BlackRock right now is not letting up on crypto. If these guys have some of or own almost 99% of every, or own almost 99% of almost every company, not as in they own all of the companies, they own a portion of almost every company that's in America, right? Like BlackRock has been just buying up everything in the U.S. markets, right? And now they're just got their eyes set on crypto and Bitcoin. You got to see the writing on the wall. They know they're going to integrate this stuff into everything else that they hold. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think people are just so caught up in just not paying attention to the right things. Like if the money's moving towards something, why would you start to really like pull away from it? That's my biggest thing. And BlackRock has trillions. I'm talking about money that don't even make any sense. Like 11 trillion, something crazy, more than that maybe. Let's pull this up in front of you guys and see how much BlackRock has in holdings, right? Let's see. Sheesh. Let's see. No, it's just holdings. I mean, companies, assets. There we go. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Do they have the portfolio holdings in here? All right. That is ridiculous. I can't. They own so much stuff, bro. Like, oh my. I'm just going to bring this over so you guys can see. I think it's like well over $12 trillion in assets. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, dude, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Google, Tesla, like Facebook, like Berkshire Hathaway, like yeah, all of these companies right here. And I mean like good amounts, right? Like really holding on to a nice chunk of these. Yeah, this is just, I'm still scrolling. Like, look at I can't even like make sense out of this right now. Like look how small this little block is. I'm gonna have to keep going down. Look, these are all I'm still going. This is BlackRock. This is the one nobody wants to pay attention to. No, those guys, they just do stuff. Really? I'm still going. Still scrolling, guys. This is a lot. They're not looking to get into crypto for a couple of days or a week or two. All right. They're here. All right. They're here for the long term. They're gonna have this stuff for years. Lululemon, like this is the bottom of the list. I had to go through the whole like this is almost every like. Come on, guys. Like this is me just scrolling, but I'm still going. This is just it's too much to even read. I'm halfway through. Like this is a lot, guys. And I keep telling people like don't look at BlackRock and just roll your eyes when you hear they're getting into Bitcoin and crypto and they're looking to make an ETF. All right. They know what they're doing. They've done this before. They're going to continue to do this stuff. Okay. It says, okay. Like, yeah, when people like this show up and they just keep talking about it, they don't need to say nothing. They could just go do it and it'll just be done. And it'll be, oh, okay, well, BlackRock got in. Cool. Like, no, they're like, hey, no, we know what's coming. We know the Web3 is the future. We know everyone's going to be using blockchain technology, whether they like it or not. This is the part that gets me. And then yet and still we sit here and we look at these charts that keep saying the same thing. Hey, pay attention to the levels, pay attention to the levels, pay attention to the levels. And yet and still somehow people sit here and look at me and say, yeah, but this time it won't do that. But it did it every other single solitary time before. And today's different because you said so. Even though BlackRock's about to get involved. Because I laughed about this and I told you guys, where's the money going to come from? We've been hanging out here around 1.2. These guys got well over 12 trillion, $11 trillion in assets under holding. Right? Like this is Grant Cardone says it all the time. Who has my money? Between BlackRock, China, and the banks getting involved. And I get it. I'm not a big fan of the Fed now thing. I'm not. Like I know we all know this stuff is coming and they're going to be getting involved and trying to put a bunch of, stipulations and rules and all that kind of stuff in play. It was the same way when the automobile popped up. All right. When the automobile popped up, the horse and buggy went bye-bye and you had to have all these weird rules when you drove a car and all this and that. And it was just a progress and a process and everything was this had to do this and you had to like, could you imagine having to teach people how to drive? Like just hear me out. When the automobile became mainstream, could you imagine setting up the classes where you have to teach these people that have ridden horses and trains, and now they got to go get into a vehicle where they have to go to, like, imagine setting the infrastructure for the gas stations, right? Let alone like, hey, let me show you how to drive this giant 2-ton metal machine down this brand new paved road we just made for you, right? Like, that's a lot. And it seems almost impossible, right? But yeah, here we are, and it's like a normal part of everybody's life everywhere around the world. It'll be very, very similar with this technology. And I keep telling people like, stop. See, it's like teaching in kindergarten. I mean, yeah, because they're babies. They don't know. You got to get them to calm their minds down because everything's scary, right? And then you got to get them to just focus on what the task is. Like, it's going to be the same thing, getting people adjusted to wallets and understanding. And the thing is, this is still new, right? It took years for people to finally realize how beneficial the seatbelt was. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are old cars that just don't even have seatbelts in them, right? Like, bruh, like we're still evolving. Now, with all that being said, could you imagine being an investor in the different parts that made the automobile, right? Allowing that to be a part of your legacy and not, I was too nervous to get involved with the automobile, so I missed the whole wave. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel right now about crypto. I'm like, this is like watching the automobile be birthed, right? And then we're seeing the onset of AI and all these new technologies flowing. Let me just tell y'all a secret. The banks are too slow to even compete with AI. So we need something fast, almost like something like Web3. All right, you can tell your mammy, but don't tell nobody else. So it only makes sense for this kind of technology to just start to become adopted and grow because it's almost mandatory for what the future looks like. If you think people are going to be exchanging pieces of paper and coins in the next 20 to 30 years, You got another thing coming. We barely carry cash now, right? And I'm going to ask you guys this. How many of you guys still walk around with CDs on you? Like little compact disc, right? You play music on them and stuff. How many of you guys still walk around? You guys may have them. Yeah, you may have like, around the house or maybe in an old, book where you keep them out and you flip through every now and then for nostalgia purposes. How many of you guys carry around a little booklet of CDs, right? Right? Like, and my thing is, how old are CDs, right? like compact discs aren't this 100-year-old thing, okay? Like, I'm just saying. What's going on, Johnson? Roll Tide. All right. Collecting dust, right? You find the old book, the old black little vinyl filling book, or you open it up like, man, these are my jams. All them burnt CDs you never listened to. All right. Nope. Spotify. Walk around for what? Right? You mean like a Walkman? No, like an actual. Yeah, if you got the Sony Walkman CD player, yeah. If you still got it on you, do you walk around and pop a CD in and listen to it? Right? Yeah. Are you walking around with VHSs on you? Right? I'm just saying. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. Boom. How many of you guys still got these walking around, right? You got some of these in your house? When was the last time you used a CD? CDs aren't that old, right? These aren't this super old, oh my gosh, they're old. Like, I can't believe, like, we started really getting CD players in cars in the 2000s. Okay? Like, I remember seeing cars in the 90s that still had cassette players, right? The technology has grown and expanded so fast. Why would you think it wouldn't keep going, right? No one uses CDs. They can't. CDs had the shortest shelf life, right? 8-track players to cassette players to CDs. CDs came and went like that. Like that. All right. You see, you got DVDs. I'm glad. Thanks. Somebody finally got a DVD. All right. Don't none of y'all use y'all DVDs no more. All right. And y'all know what I'm talking when I say DVDs, right? All right. DVDs. All right. Everybody knows about the DVDs. Hey, that's what these are. These are DVDs. All right. But no, man, like, I'm showing you guys just because I want you guys just to understand that the evolution of money is here. The evolution of our financial system is here. And yet and still, we watch the news and we wait for the news to tell us, now you can get excited. When you should have been excited back here. You should have been excited at these levels. You should be excited right now. You're in a zone that when price comes back here, you're going to wish you took advantage of areas like this. LimeWire killed CDs. No, LimeWire started it. LimeWire started it. Well, LimeWire started us burning CDs. I didn't burn CDs. I never pirated music. I was y'all doing that. I never was on LimeWire or BearShare. I was y'all in Napster and stuff. Y'all was pirating music. Ooh, chat. I'm telling. I still have my tape collection. Man, listen, bro. Like, it's like the music went. Like, I had a conversation with my son the other day, and I was telling him how we didn't have the benefit of going to YouTube and cutting on a song we wanted to hear, right? We had to sit by the radio and wait for our song to come on. You would wait all day just so you could dance for a few minutes and be happy that you caught it while it was on, right? Or if you was in the car and it came on, cut that up. That's my jam. Because you wanted to hurry up and hear it before it got cut off, right? Hey, what's going on, Hirsch? Right? So I need you guys to understand, like, we're in a time right now where, like, those moments of, like, even back in, I was talking about 106 in Park, right? Like, you had to wait for your favorite music video to come on, right? And when it came on, you wanted to go to school so you can talk about it, right? It was a whole vibe. I got my bro Hirsch in the building. Let's go. What's going on, brother? Man, dude. We got to have another apple juice talk. Everybody still talks about the Gold Lobster should be a Hirsch. We were like, man, we got to get another apple juice meetup. I'm like, yep, we got to have an apple juice meetup. Sit down, drink some apple juice, and talk about life. All right. Let's see here. See here, put some tape over my old cassette and whooping from the recording over your mom's tape. Oh, whooping from recording over your mom's tape. Man, listen, you know what, E-Money? I for sure got a whooping for taping over my mom's stuff. I think she had like a Luther Vandross tape, and I like put it in the radio and like recorded over because it was a song I wanted to hear on the radio. Straight recorded over Luther Vandross. She was heated. All right. This is we learned in taking notes about cassette tapes and me getting whoopings. But no, man, it was a whole thing. Listen, just getting a whooping was a thing back in the day, right? Sheesh. All right, but no, man, like, I'm simply making sure you guys are understanding that these areas in the market, like back here, I'm gonna make this point. Back here, when price got to this level right here, around like 5K, when we were down here at around 3K and then 4K, and we got into like the early fives, nobody wanted to listen. Nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to pay attention. Everybody was kind of, nah, I don't think the market's it's gonna pull back down. I'm gonna get it at 3K again. And I'm like, guys, the historical data, I was back here doing this stuff. Guys, after we typically leave the zone, the historical data tells us we only get maybe a pullback, and then we kind of hold, and then we leave after the halving. Nah, Kurt. It's going to pull back to 3. We held, we broke above. What happened? It actually pulled back due to COVID. And like 2 people got in at around 3K, barely, because of that little 39 right here. That barely pulled back and then watched it run back up. All right. And my thing is like, who in their right mind is sitting around knowing that this is going to pull back? This wick is going to pull back and get you in. Like, I mean, we know because we look at the levels. But most people missed out on these areas because we knew this was a zone that had a lot of selling pressure in it. Once we broke above, it was only buying pressure left. Came back, buying pressure. It wasn't a hard sale, literally, right? Like price bounced, kept on going. Nothing about this for me is any different from where we're at right now. I'm looking at these areas thinking to myself, dude, we're just spending a little bit of time in this zone. We're going to break out from here and bounce back and forth, more than likely until the halving, and then we're going to see this thing just rocket to the moon, and everybody's going to wish they took advantage of these levels. Nobody that got in at this level was upset. Now, the only thing I will say is this. With what's going on with Binance, we could see that as a catalyst that may push us down one more good time, maybe back into these levels down here. All right, these levels here, we might get a resurgence of the $20,000 level. If something wild happens to Binance, right? Like I was looking at this, me and Mike talk about this all the time, but I was looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, if low point, right? High point, potentially. Down here, that 786, 886, this could be a beautiful, amazing, phenomenal sell-off. They just completely wipe Binance off the map. And then here's my theory. Here's my, because I want to say my conspiracy theory for the end of the class. If we see Binance go under, if we see Binance, you know what? I'm gonna get y'all together. I'm gonna let y'all want me to do what I do when I tell y'all the secrets. Get in so close right now. If we see Binance, the guy from Instagram with the phone, he always got you in the mirror, Jordan. If we see Binance go under, it could be the catalyst they need for all of the ETFs to get approved. Why? Because they keep saying that there's too much manipulation in the crypto space. And the biggest manipulator in their mind is Binance. So if Binance goes down, most of the ETFs will start to get approved. Are you too close? You got to buy me a drink first. So when you understand that this is where we're potentially going, Binance going down, giving us a sell-off, and then seeing the ETF come out. You see where I'm going with it now? Binance creates the sell-off, all the fear, anxiety, nervousness. Oh no, not my crypto, right? Because we're not leaving our money on any exchanges. Then we see all the big money movers, the BlackRocks, the Fidelities, the JP Morgans, all swoop in, buy it up at these cheap $20,000, maybe $19,000 levels, and then we see a scoop, carry back up out of here. Then we get into this nice little bit of accumulation zone. Then we get to halving, boom, off to the races. We got ETFs. We got everybody participating. Now Binance is gone. United States feels a lot more comfortable with those guys being out of the picture for an ETF, and everything takes off. All right. I'm going to make her to TikTok. You're going to be famous. No, this is for you guys. But no, like, so are you guys kind of like seeing where I'm going with my little tinfoil theory, my tinfoil hat theory? Like, Binance could be the catalyst that brings us down, allows all these big banks and institutions to get Bitcoin for cheap. Then the SEC feels more comfortable about launching an ETF because Binance is out of the picture and they can't manipulate the price. And then we just start seeing everybody swoop in and grab up BTC at bargain basement prices. Just saying. This old boy, they really want to take this beat off, really? See here, oh my goodness, their transit charts looking their way through. Like, I mean, I'm just saying. See here, fam, let's chip in and buy Cobain a drink. We owe him that. No, I'm good. I got my handy dandy clear cup here. Mm-hmm. It's mango. So good. So good. All right. So I'm just saying things are lining up nicely, to say the least. I am excited about what I'm seeing right now inside the space. I think right now, like I said, it's just that boring, not a whole lot of fireworks. But when they hit, they gonna hit. And you got to be prepared for it. So I think Binance might end up, I don't want to say biting the dust, but I think they're going to go through a lot because they want Binance gone badly. And I think it's not just the SEC. I think there are banks and corporations that want Binance gone so they can actually get the ETF. I think Binance is the only thing that's stopping the ETF from launching. Why do I keep going into Binance this way? And I'm not a big fan of Binance either. Like, I liked Binance early. And then when I saw some of the stuff they were doing with Tether and how close and intermingling the funds were with Tether and the BNB coin, it made me really uneasy. And I kind of just distanced myself from it completely. You guys will notice I don't put it on any of our lists. Like, I didn't put it on the last list, right? Like, it's something about Binance coin. It's just like, if you guys like it, hey, feel free. I rolled it out the first go round when it was like $4 and we got out at like $44. I was happy with that. But now I'm like, yeah, I can't really vibe with it as much because it's just not a lot of consistent answers for the questions that I do have for that project. So I get it. They're intermingling with a lot of that money coming in from like Singapore and China and different parts of the world with Tether. But I can't get with Tether and just Binance's, like relationship. It's too tight. It's too close. So I think if they get rid of it and Binance starts to take a big hit, it makes everybody else in the crypto space feel a lot more comfortable knowing that there isn't an opportunity for other parts of the world to just hyper manipulate it whenever they want to, because Binance is such a big player, right? I think the US wants to see a lot more adoption for exchanges that they have more, I don't want to say so in, but they can see more of what's going on behind the door, right? As opposed to Binance, where they don't know anything. Like, nobody knows. Like, you look at Binance and it's like, bruh, I can't tell you. All right. So if you think about it, they kind of did a crypto hit list, Do Kwon, Sam Fraud. Yeah, they did Scam Bankman Fraud and now CZ. And they've been coming after CZ for the longest. They just couldn't get him. So now, I think now is the time they're going to, he's like the last on the list. And Do Kwon was doing amazing things with Terra Luna, gone. Right? Scam Bankman Fraud was working with a bunch of other bankers trying to get things in position, gone. Right? And now they got CZ on the sideline trying to do things with Elon Musk and do all this and that. And they're like, no, we need him going too, out of here. They don't want any overseas players having that big of a hold on crypto. And even when China got rid of all the miners and it got more decentralized, America was the first place to adopt all of that mining power. Right? A lot of it's in Texas. So we know that we want to be a part of it. It's just they want to have a bigger say-so in it. And Binance, I think, is hindering that vision. So, yeah. It says, is he a hero or a villain? That's the thing. Like, I don't think CZ is a stone cold villain, but I do think he has his own means. Right? He has his own agenda. And I mean, it's like anybody. Like, nobody's out here is just squeaky clean, right? But I think he has his own agendas. And I think that he wants to make sure that the United States doesn't get a monopoly on crypto, right? Because if they do, BlackRock investing in Coinbase, exactly. BlackRock and Coinbase working together. And then you got these other entities like Kraken with Jesse Powell. And I like Kraken. Kraken's great. I think Jesse Powell, the CEO of Kraken, is a phenomenal dude. Like, he tells people, get your funds off an exchange. And he runs an exchange. Like, I'm like, bro, like, yes, like, tell the people what they should be doing when it comes to custody. Like, yeah, let's go. So as a CEO who he runs a crypto exchange, and he tells his clients or his customers to not keep their funds on the exchange, that says a lot about who he is. All right, but when you got CZ always trying to find ways to get more power, it just seems like he wants more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And no matter how much he gets, no matter how many, companies or different projects, move over to the Binance chain, he wants more, right? He wants to take some of that market share from Ethereum. He wants to take some of that market share from Bitcoin. He wants to take some of that market share from DeFi and bring it into the BNB, network. But there just isn't, in my opinion, there isn't enough transparency for it to be something where it makes crypto better, right? If Binance Network was the #1 blockchain, crypto would not be a better place. And that's what I mean when I say, like, people like him don't have a real nefarious reason. It's just for the love of the power. And I don't want to be in a situation where somebody who just wants the power for the sake of having it has it. Because now we're back at square one again, like, literally. And I think the government right now is kind of like, yeah, let's just remove that out of the way, and then we'll start to kind of innovate on our end. And I think once we start getting more clear-cut regulation and we get a ETF, you'll start seeing more of the thinkers and the builders and the institutions start to really pour into R&D for crypto. And we'll start seeing a lot more Web3 stuff pop up. But as sad as it is to say out loud, I think Binance right now is the biggest hindrance to the growth of crypto. And that sounds so counterproductive because they're not doing anything nefarious per se, but it does slow down the adoption of the United States coming in and getting in and really, like, allowing the rest of the world to have a roadmap, because we're still figuring out what's going to happen with this Binance and CZ thing. Because once Binance and CZ is out the picture, the court case for Ripple could end, like, overnight. And I really feel like that's it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of CZ as in the sense of, oh, this guy's amazing, but I don't think he's just out to get people, right? Like, when I saw Sam Bankman-Fried and all things he was doing, I'm thinking, okay, he's a cool dude, young guy, right? Team's working on stuff. But I kept noticing as well, he wanted more power. He would be around government a lot. He would be at a lot of parties and meetings and, trying to rub shoulders with all these people internationally and all this stuff. But it was always like, it was never anything about growing FTX tech-wise or expanding it so it's a better, experience for the customer. It was always about just the agreements and the partnerships, partnerships. And I see the same thing with CZ, but with way less eyes inside of what's going on truly. So I think that's one of the biggest things right now is just kind of, I don't want to say removing him, but like getting that clarity on where he stands as an exchange and where Binance stands as an exchange. And we'll see where United States goes from there. But I think as long as Binance is like one of the top 3 exchanges in the world, we're not going to get a ETF at all. Not in the United States at all. It's just too easy to manipulate it with a large exchange. People can do really, really horrible things with an exchange that big, and CZ and those guys can just be like, oh, we didn't know, right? And all the U.S. keeps saying is, hey, let us know you're transparent. Show us your books. Let us know that things are being, held properly. You have the proper reserves. Everything is where it needs to be. So that way nothing wild can happen because you told us you have everything you have. So if something does happen, you can be held accountable. And they're like, no, we don't want to do that. And it's kind of like, well, if you plan on having U.S. customers, you got to do it. And they're like, well, we don't want U.S. customers now. So now it's like, okay, well, why is Binance US still a thing? And they're like, because we're not utilizing it in our way. We have our own CEO for that. You go talk to him. And that's why they're having such an issue with anybody being the CEO or president of Binance US, because everybody just resigns after so long. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But that's just my little tinfoil theory hat. We'll see how it all plays out in the grand scheme of things. But, yeah. That's going to do it for me today, guys. We have our futures class coming up in 1 hour. Do not miss it. Future sessions coming up. Definitely want you guys to get in there, get the sauce. I'll be on with you guys later on this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Same channel, different time. All right, family, I appreciate you guys. And as usual, and as always, y'all know how we do. Stay patient, stay disciplined, and the gains will come. I'm out. And oh yeah. Good night, everybody. Stay blessed, family. Listen, go get your snacks. Go use the bathroom. Do what you got to do. Charge your phones and your tablets. Get your notepads out. Get on the Futures call 1 hour from now. Go to the Futures channel. Just go cut the Futures channel on right now and then just wait for them to start talking. All right, that's what you need to do. Just go over there and wait it out. All right, tell them Kotero sent you. All right, family. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Stay blessed. See you guys later on this evening. Let's get this bag. Let's go. Let's go.